slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
Today we have this 2017 ACURA RDX that just dropped for a front stage speaker upgrade. So we are replacing the front stage speaker and tweeter. Same thing on the other side. We already started working on there. And yeah, this is the project we're gonna be working on right now. You can see over here, we already located the factory amplifier. It's right in here. So this cable here is the base knob cable from a previous installation. He got his subwoofer installed previously at another shop. Nothing wrong with that installation. It's just that he's still not happy with the sound that he gets, and now we are doing a front stage speaker upgrade. So we will be running active speakers at the front here, woofer in the door, and tweeter on both sides. And for this installation, we are going with the focal setup of speaker, powered up with the Alpine amplifier. So we have a focal Flax Evo series here, two-way component. Part number is the PS165FE, and the system will be powered up with this Alpine amplifier. That's the project we're working on right now, guys. So you guys can stay tuned for updates. Update here with the progress with our RDX. By the way, we are getting through our winter season here. It's not snowing today, so it's kind of a nice day today for us here. I think we may open the gate to get a vehicle from the front. But anyway, let's get to it. So we are actually working right now on the cover plates here for this door. So we're gonna have two plates to cover these two openings on the door. So we started working with some pieces of cardboard here just to get the overall shape of it, and now we're going to transfer it on a piece of 1/4 MDF first. We'll cut the MDF, try it as well, make sure it's nice, because this has a shape but it's a cardboard, so it's still a little bit flexible. We're going to cut it on the rigid piece of MDF, make sure it's nice, and then transfer on the HDPE, which is going to be the final product, the final material. So that's what this piece here is going to be looking like. There we go. And then we have the second one over here, which is going to go like this. Hello guys, we have our pieces of cardboard here that have been transferred to the MDF. Sorry about the noise, the machine is going. So our piece of cardboard has been transferred to the MDF here. This is for the first opening in the door. The second one is this piece here. So from the cardboard over to the MDF. This here is an opening for the wires that are going to come from inside the door, and it's the same thing over here. So basically at this point we have we are done with the pieces of cardboard. We have the two pieces of MDF here that are gonna fit in there. Let's just make a quick test fitting here. And once this is done, it's all gonna be about transferring it now to the HDPE. So let's do it on this side, as we have more. It's a little bit tight over there, so let's do it over here. So that's the first piece. This is the wire I was talking about. So that's how this guy is going to be sitting. Alright, so that's good. Now the second piece here, like this. Okay, so it's gonna be going on there just like this, something like this. I can't really hold it nice because I'm holding the phone, but you get the idea here. There you go. So we're gonna push this in, and yeah, it's gonna be some. You get the idea, guys. So now let's transfer this to the HDPE. Back again with our RDX project here. We are shifting direction a little bit here. So now, remember guys, initially we were going to do our focal speaker set and then the Alpine amplifier. But now directions are shifting. Now we are going with this Mosconi Pico 810 DSP amplifier. Wow, come on man. Okay, there you go. So this is what we're doing now, guys. We are moving over to the Mosconi. Reason for the change being that once we took the vehicle apart, we noticed that the system actually has a factory amplifier, a 9-speaker factory amplifier, fully active. So once we noticed that the front stage from the OEM is actually running 4-channel out of the amp, so those speakers and tweeters, which means with our straight amplifier, we would have needed an extra device basically to sum up the signal from the front speaker and tweeter, and then split it out again the way we like it to be before we send it out to our focal speakers. That being said, we would have needed an extra gear in the system. And my major problem with this vehicle is our customer here does not have a lot of space to sacrifice. So we gave him a call, we talked about it, we said, hey, now this is the situation. We have, instead of 2 channels to the front, we have 4 channels to the front. So we would need either to go with an extra sum of device basically, and then splitting up the signal at the end, or best case scenario here is just better to go with a DSP. If we go with a DSP, we're gonna do all of that internally, and whatever comes out of it is gonna go straight to the speaker and straight to the tweeters. So we explained it to the customer, and he was like, okay, you guys go ahead. So we have a go ahead to install this DSP, this Mosconi, and that's gonna be the plan now, guys. So we're changing plan. And by the way, he dropped off a coffee for us today, so thank you, Aiden. We're moving on to this Pico now. So that's gonna be our DSP amplifier for this install. 8-channel amplifier, 10-channel DSP. Okay, we're gonna grab our nut insert. We're using number M4 for this one. So this is what we got here. And that's what we're gonna use to insert the to put the insert in the doors. Okay, we're gonna put our insert in on both openings so we can attach the face plate. So let's do that. So we have all our insert in for the cover plate. One there, one, and one. So the cover plates here are almost ready to be attached to the driver passenger door here. So before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and put the sound treatment material. The same thing applies here to the speakers. So we have the inserts that are already in. So now we're gonna go ahead and apply the sound treatment material, the sound deadening, and we'll put the plate on. So let's do that. already cut the block off plate, so these are going to be blocking off the openings in the door panel. And then we also cut some sound deadening material to seal the edges, like the surrounding on this block off plate. That way the door panel is going to be completely sealed, which makes it like pretty much behave like an enclosure for the speakers. So the block off plates are going to come on top like this. That's how it's going to go. So once we mount the plate to the door, we're going to seal the surround with this sound deadening material here. So that's for that. And then same thing applies over here. So this is the block off plate for the second opening, and then we also have the sound deadening material to seal the surround. And you can also notice that we already drilled for the screws. So we're going to have 6 screws on here, 7 screws over here. So once that's mounted in the truck, we'll get you guys to take a look and see what it looks like. The cut is completed over here on the CNC. So here we have our 2 speaker rings that we just got cut on the CNC here. So right now we're going to go ahead and paint it in black so it matches the speaker. Alright, so the cut is nice, it fits nice, we tried it. That's pretty much how it's going to go in the vehicle. The height on this edge here is exactly the height that we left over here. So the surface is going to be flush, and we're going to have the contour treatment that's going to sit on this edge as well as over here to make a nice contour around the speaker. So we're gonna take out these 2 devices, and they're gonna be mounted on the new amp rack. And to that rack, we're gonna add the DSP. So let's do that. guys, we cut this template in our vehicle. So now we have the template transferred to our piece of ADS here. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be our final amp rack. So now we're going to go ahead and separate the MDS from it, put some insert, and then we're going to attach all of these three devices on here. Now we have a few jumpers in this unit that needs to be set according to what vehicle you're working on. So we're going to go over these settings, and then after that we're going to go in the vehicle to do some testing and make sure we are doing good with our settings here. So basically, if you open this unit inside, you will see a set of jumpers like it shows here on the board, and then over here you have information about how to set it up. So you have an option for digital input, optical, or card, because it can take a card. It has a card input. I don't know if I can show it to you guys here. Right here, this is the card input. So here they're telling you that there is a jumper to determine what kind of input you want in there, either optical or the card. But we're not using this, we're using the high level input, so this is not interesting for us right now, so we're just going to leave it as it is. Now over here we have the auto sense settings. By default it's on, or you can remove the jumper to turn it off. We're gonna leave it on, that way it's gonna the DSP is gonna switch on when it senses the speaker input. So that setting here, we're leaving it default value. Moving on over here, input 1 to 4 sensitivity. So basically you determine how sensitive you want input 1 to 4 to be. So over here by default it is at 15 volt RMS. You can put those jumper the way it shows here to move it over to 30 volt RMS, or you can put the jumper this way to make it a 15 volt RMS for a head unit. Now the peak that we're going to select here will be determined by the RMS value off of the factory amplifier. So this is something we're going to have to pay attention to. Now down here we have the input 5 to 6 sensitivity. You have either 2 volt, 15 volt, and a 30 volt. Now low level, so for the low level input, you can go either floating or ground reference. Floating means the input is not referenced to the ground, so it's just floating. Over here you have the ground reference, which means the 2 wires, input wires, one is pretty much the ground, so it has a reference to the ground. Okay, and that's pretty much it for this here. So this is the information that I wanted to share with you guys, because we're going to go ahead in the vehicle there to do a few checks to make sure that we are good here. If we are not good with any of the default value here, then we will pop off this DSP to change the setting inside. Alright, so now we are at the amp level here. We are trying to get our input signal to our Pico Mosconi DSP. So if you're trying to know where that is located, so that's our gear shifter, that's the factory amplifier. So this wire that you see are cut here are the front speaker and tweeter in both doors. So from the factory they were running active. So 2 set of wire for the door speakers and 2 set of wire for the door tweeters. Here you can see that we already have our notes written down, so we already figured out which wire is what, as well as the polarity. So we have the front driver side plus and minus, we have the front driver side tweeter plus and minus, front passenger side speaker plus and minus, front passenger side tweeter plus and minus. So all the colors have been figured out already. So what we're gonna do now is just we have some Dutch connector that we're gonna put on this end. So we're putting the female here and the male on this side. That way we would be able in the future to remove this whole system without issue. Say down the road he sells the vehicle and he wants to take out his gear, he can just remove the harnesses going to the rear of the vehicle over here and then connect back this connector to this one here, and the system is back to the factory. So that's what we're gonna do. And yes, we are going to go ahead and do the connections. So first off, we're going to put the Dutch connector on this side here, taking the signal here to the DSP at the back. So when we're done with the sound processing at the back there, we're going to have the output of the DSP coming back here through another female connector. So the male here is going to connect to the female coming to the output of the DSP after we're done with the processing. And that's going to make this thing a basically a plug and play system. Okay, we have our connections done over here at the amp level. So we the front stage speakers has been interrupted at this level here on this harness, and you can see the Dutch connectors over here going to the rear of the vehicle. This one here is a previous job that was done in the vehicle, so it's just there. So we have the speaker out of this going in this Dutch connector over to the rear. So it's going to be processed at the DSP, and it's coming back over here, going over here, and then down to the actual car speaker in the car speakers in the door. And we have labeled our Dutch connectors here. So we have speakers, tweeter, speaker, tweeter. So that is front, rear, front, left. Same thing over here. Speaker, tweeter, speaker, tweeter, front, rear, front, left. Sorry, front, right, front, left, sorry. Okay, so this is done. Now we're gonna go over to the back of the vehicle and then do our connections on the DSP, and we're gonna start processing this signal. And like I was mentioning before, if this system needs to be removed, it's gonna be an easy job. So basically what you're gonna have to do is come over here and unplug the 2 cable going to the rear over there. So you just unplug those 2, and then this one will connect back to this one. This is the male, this is the female. So this one will connect back to this, and the system is back to factory. So that's how we made it plug and play over here. So let's go to the back, and then these are all the wires coming over here at the back. Our amplifiers, our DSP is going to be over here. So we're gonna go ahead and test the polarity on those speaker and tweeter first, and then we're gonna have to measure. We want to know the RMS value coming out of here, so we can select the right settings on the DSP and make sure we don't reach saturation. So let's go ahead and do the speaker test, speaker polarity test first, and then move on from there. So we're gonna use our pack speaker pop to send the signal on the door, and the Lumiere is gonna test the polarity there. The polarity is good on these speaker wires, same as the tweeter wires. So now we're moving on to the input of our DSP. So this is gonna be the input of the DSP or the output of the factory amplifier. We are going to go ahead and measure the signal that we get here, and then based off of what you get, we're gonna determine what setting to pick on the DSP. So we're gonna use our scope meter here. I'm just gonna connect my alligator clips on the scope meter. This is actually the board. Okay guys, over here the RMS value at the speaker level is 7 volt. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use that value to do to pick the right setting on the DSP. And like I mentioned before, the DSP that we're using here is gonna have 2 settings for the high level input. We have 30 volt RMS or 15. So since our signal here is maxing out at around 7.5, we're gonna go ahead and pick this 15 volt RMS input on the DSP. We are heading toward the end of this project. Right now the DSP is all set, it's all installed at the back there. As it is right now, we are setting up the gain on each output of the DSP before we go over to the frequency equalization. So we're gonna set up the gain, make sure each speaker has the amount of power that it needs to have, and then move over in the software to do the fine tuning. So now we're going to use channel 3 here as a reference to find out at what gain here we're going to be maxing out our speakers. And if you look at the screen here at 9 decibel, we are maxing out the speaker. That's basically what we noticed here during the process. So what we're going to do now is use that 9 decibel as a reference, and we're going to move over to the other channels and basically adjust that value on each channel depending on the way the speakers are responding. On each channel, we just need to know that we do not want to go over 9 decibel. So now, depending on the way the speakers are responding, like I said, we're going to adjust that a little bit, and that's pretty much going to be it for the gain settings over here. So what's going to be left to do now is just the EQ. So after this, we're going to move over and do the EQ, and this project will be a wrap. So that's pretty much what we did here. Okay guys, over here I made a big time mistake, guys. Basically I put the camera on the tripod on the rear seat, and I put it on autofocus, and it was focused on the screen. But you notice that when I enter the picture here, the focus actually shift from the screen to my shoulder. So all my EQ settings here were not being recorded by the camera because it was out of focus. I'm gonna have to apologize about this, guys, but it is just what it is at this point. I'm just noticing it here while I'm doing I'm putting the video together. So I'm sorry guys, that's just it. Mistake happens. It is what it is. Can't do anything about that right now.